Inside the alien empire's command center, the High Council watches Earth's latest movements with growing disbelief. The Empire, confident in its overwhelming power, is unprepared for a shocking revelation. Humanity's hidden supercarrier has just emerged from deep space, fully operational and far more powerful than anything the Empire could have imagined. Alien leaders scramble to process the impossible, while on Earth, Commander Aline Morrow watches in grim silence, knowing that the war is about to take an unexpected turn. The Empire's command center was a cathedral of cold, metallic efficiency, an endless space filled with tension. Hundreds of alien officers stood in rigid formation, their eyes focused on the giant holographic projection in the center of the room. The vast screen displayed a map of the galaxy, dotted with red and green markers representing the locations of both the Empire's forces and the scattered remnants of the Earth fleet. At the helm, Commander Thrax, an alien whose people had crushed civilizations across the galaxy, stood tall. His dark, emotionless eyes glared at the map, his hands clasped behind his back. He was a symbol of power, unshakable in his certainty that Earth would fall under the Empire's overwhelming might. "We've wiped out their defenses," Thrax muttered, his voice deep and resonant. "Their fleet is in disarray. Soon, Earth will be ours." But just as his words settled into the room, a sudden, sharp tone broke the stillness. The projection flickered, and a new signal was detected. A small, unassuming blip appeared on the map. It was near Earth, but far too large to be any of their surviving ships. Commander Zor, his most trusted officer, spoke with an edge of confusion. "There's something strange. This signature, it's human. But this doesn't make sense." Thrax turned sharply. "What do you mean, human?" He was incredulous. "We've already destroyed their forces. Their ships are nothing more than debris. What new trick are they trying now?" Zor's voice wavered as the blip grew in size. "This isn't just a single ship. It's massive, Commander. Suddenly the projection cleared, revealing the silhouette of a ship unlike anything the Empire had seen before. It was enormous, far larger than the Earth ships they had encountered, dwarfing anything in the galaxy. Its hull was sleek and dark, a combination of alien-like technology fused with Earth's own advanced engineering. The sheer size and power of the ship was staggering. It's a supercarrier," Zor whispered, his voice barely audible. Thrax's eyes widened in disbelief. "Impossible," he muttered. We destroyed all of their supercarriers. How could they?" The officers on the command deck murmured among themselves, their fear palpable. They had underestimated humanity. What they had assumed were primitive, weak people had just revealed a terrifying weapon hidden in plain sight, and it was far beyond anything they had anticipated. On the screen, the supercarrier began to power up, its engines glowing with an otherworldly energy. It was fully operational. The humanity that the Empire had dismissed as weak, as a planet beneath their notice, had somehow developed this monstrous machine without anyone in the Empire catching a glimpse of it. The ship was a testament to human ingenuity, and it now stood as a challenge to everything the Empire had fought for. Thrax stood frozen, his mind racing to comprehend what he was seeing. "How?" he demanded, his voice rising. "How did they hide this from us? How did they build it without us knowing?" Zor, trembling, managed to pull up the schematics on the screen. "It's not just any ship. This supercarrier has cloaking, technology we've never seen before. It's almost as if they were waiting for us to attack, anticipating this moment." A pause fell over the room, thick with tension. The aliens, for the first time, seemed unsure of themselves. They had come to Earth expecting to crush the last remnants of a broken species. Instead, they were facing a threat they couldn't have fathomed. Thrax clenched his fists, his thoughts darkening. "They've been hiding in plain sight all this time, preparing for us. This isn't just a ship. This is a warship designed to break us. The supercarrier's engines hummed louder now, and a series of smaller vessels began to detach from its sides, deploying with military precision. The Empire's fleet, still recovering from its earlier defeat, was in no shape to respond. Zor's voice was filled with awe and fear. It's fully equipped with weapons too, energy cannons, EMP pulses, and something worse. This ship is ready for war. On Earth, deep inside the command center, Commander Aline Morrow sat in front of a massive screen, her expression unreadable. The news had come in from her scouts, reports of the supercarrier's emergence. She knew what it meant. The Empire had just encountered a weapon they had never expected. Earth had spent years preparing for this, not in the shadows, but right under the Empire's nose. Aline's team had carefully constructed this ship over the course of decades, hidden in plain sight, while the Empire focused on wiping out the remnants of Earth's old forces. The Supercarrier was not just a ship. It was humanity's answer to years of oppression, a symbol of what Earth could become if given the chance. And now it was ready to fight. Aline stood, her voice calm but filled with the strength of a commander who knew the tide had turned. "Activate the supercarrier's weapons," she ordered. "Prepare the fleet. The Empire has no idea what's coming." As the supercarrier's massive engines powered up, Earth's fleet began to rally around it. Aline knew that the coming days would be filled with violence and destruction, but for the first time in decades, Earth had the upper hand. The tables had turned, and the Empire was about to learn a harsh lesson. With a soft exhale, Aline whispered to herself, "We've been waiting for you." As the ship's weapons powered up, the full force of Earth's hidden might was unleashed, starting with a single, catastrophic shot that sent a shockwave through the enemy fleet. The Empire had no idea what it had just walked into. The Empire, still reeling from the shocking emergence of Earth's supercarrier, scrambles to organize a counterattack. Confusion and fear ripple through the ranks as alien leaders struggle to regain control over the situation. Meanwhile, Commander Aline Morrow and her fleet prepare for an inevitable confrontation with the Empire's forces, knowing that this surprise might only be the beginning of a war they must fight to the end. The Empire's fleet had scattered in disarray after the first wave of attacks from Earth's newly revealed supercarrier. The sight of their once mighty warships in retreat had caused chaos within the alien command center, a place that had long been a symbol of unchallenged power. Now its walls seemed to reverberate with uncertainty. Commander Thrax stood in the heart of the command deck, his face twisted in rage and disbelief. His fingers were pressed against the edges of the control panel, his claws digging into the surface as he watched the holographic displays of Earth's supercarrier and its accompanying fleet. "They've destroyed my flagship." "How did they?" Thrax's voice broke, his fury barely contained. Zor, his most trusted officer, watched from a distance, unable to speak. The display on the screen was nothing short of a nightmare. The human fleet, once thought to be weak and divided, was now gathering like a storm. It had come to full strength, with the massive supercarrier at its core. The fact that it was hidden for so long beyond the Empire's reach felt like a betrayal, a blow to everything the Empire stood for. "I won't tolerate this humiliation," Thrax growled, his eyes flashing. "We've crushed dozens of civilizations, and now this insignificant rock dares to rise against us." Zor stepped forward cautiously. "Commander, we need to regroup. We cannot fight them like this. Our fleet is in disarray, and their ship is unlike anything we've ever seen. We don't know what other weapons they've hidden from us." Thrax slammed his fist onto the panel, the sound reverberating through the command deck. "No, I will not retreat again. We will finish this, but first we must understand what we are up against." A moment of silence passed before Zor spoke again, this time with a hint of fear in his voice. "Commander, there's another problem. We've detected something strange. It's as if the human fleet is communicating with another. Force, their supercarrier. It's drawing power from some unknown source. Thrax's eyes narrowed. Explain. Zor quickly brought up a new set of readings on the main console. The supercarrier is using an energy field, stronger than anything we've encountered. It's not just from their standard weapons or power. And cause. The source appears to be self-generated. It's almost like they've tapped into something beyond their technological capabilities. Thrax was no fool. He knew what this meant. A new form of energy, he muttered, staring at the readings. One that even we haven't discovered. It would explain how they were able to hide this ship for so long. But how could they have known? Commander, Zor interrupted, his voice rising with urgency. They're coming. The human fleet is already on the move. Their supercarrier is advancing, and our ships are still in disarray. Thrax's mind raced. They had lost the initiative, but he wasn't about to surrender. We will fight. We will not let Earth's rebellion define the galaxy. Prepare all ships. We regroup at the edge of the system. I want our fleet ready for an immediate counterattack. As Thrax barked his orders, the alien officers scrambled to carry them out. But in the back of his mind, he couldn't shake the nagging fear that something had changed, that the humans had unlocked something far more powerful than anyone could have imagined. Meanwhile, aboard Earth's supercarrier, Commander Aline, Morrow stood at the center of the tactical room, watching her fleet come to life. The enormous ship was more than just a symbol. It was their lifeline, their answer to the Empire's endless oppression. Her fingers lightly grazed the edge of the control panel, the cool surface grounding her thoughts. "Commander," Lieutenant Commander Reese's voice echoed across the room. "We've got a live feed from our reconnaissance units. The Empire is regrouping at the edge of the system. They're preparing for another engagement." Aline's face hardened. "I thought as much. They won't go down without a fight." The map before her flickered to life, displaying the Empire's scattered fleet, now reassembling. But it wasn't just the fleet she was concerned about. It was their new technology, the weapons they'd likely developed in their desperation. She knew the Empire wouldn't show mercy, and this would be their last chance to strike a decisive blow. "They've already made the first mistake," Aline said softly, her voice steely. "They've underestimated us. But now they know we're capable of far more than they ever thought, and we'll make them regret every moment of this. Should we engage now, Commander?" Reese asked, his voice a mixture of anticipation and caution. Aline considered for a moment. "Not yet. We need to provoke them into attacking first. Make them believe they have the upper hand." Reese's eyebrows furrowed. "You want them to strike?" Aline's gaze was intense, focused. "Yes, if they attack first, we'll have the advantage. We've set up traps in their path, EMP fields, gravity wells, and cloaked weapons platforms. They won't see it coming." Reese paused, processing the plan. "And the supercarrier?" Aline's expression remained calm but determined. "It will stay in the rear. The flagship is a weapon of last resort. If they get too close, we'll use it." The atmosphere in the command room was tense as the minutes ticked by. Aline knew the Empire would take their time. No doubt, they were gathering all their remaining strength. But the humans had prepared. Earth's forces were waiting, not with desperation, but with calculated precision. Elsewhere, the Empire's fleet began to move toward the rendezvous point, each ship coordinating in tight formation. Thrax's eyes were fixed on the tactical readouts, his face a mask of grim determination. "We will make them regret their defiance," Thrax muttered, more to himself than anyone else. The command center of his flagship was alive with energy, but there was a growing sense of unease. Thrax knew that the humans had a weapon they couldn't understand. The supercarrier was not just a ship, it was a symbol of everything the Empire had miscalculated. It was humanity's refusal to be crushed, their ingenuity, their survival instinct. "They're drawing us in," Thrax said, his voice turning cold. "Good, let them. They'll find themselves in the heart of the trap soon enough." Zor, still studying the data, turned to Thrax. "Commander, we've picked up a signal. It's from the human fleet. But Thrax cut him off. "I don't need their propaganda. I know what's coming. We'll face them head on. Let's finish this." As the Empire's fleet accelerated toward Earth, their ships became more scattered, moving into their final positions. They were charging forward with arrogance, with the certainty that nothing could stand in their way. But they had failed to learn from their first defeat. This time, it wouldn't be so easy. Aline stood at the helm of the Supercarrier, watching her fleet prepare for the battle ahead. The tension was palpable, but there was something else beneath it, a quiet resolve. "Let them come," she whispered, her voice a fierce promise. Earth's forces were no longer fighting for survival alone. They were fighting for something far greater, their place in the galaxy, and they would not let the Empire take it from them. The countdown had begun. The next wave of the war was about to unfold, and both sides knew that this battle would decide everything. As Earth's forces prepare for the Empire's inevitable retaliation, the battle for supremacy escalates. Commander Aline Morrow and her fleet face the full might of the Empire's regrouped forces, but they are not alone. The humans have a secret weapon in their arsenal, a weapon that, if used correctly, could tip the balance of power in their favor. The tension between humanity's hope and the Empire's desperation grows as the two sides move into their final confrontation. The final preparations for battle had begun. In the vastness of space, Earth's fleet was aligning in formation, every ship in its proper place. But Commander Aline Morrow couldn't shake the feeling that something was about to go horribly wrong. The Empire was regrouping faster than expected. Their fleet, while battered, had not been crushed, only fractured. Lieutenant Commander Cole Reese's voice cut through her thoughts. "The Empire's fleet is on the move. They're coming in with everything they've got. We've got about 20 minutes until they reach our perimeter." Aline nodded, her jaw clenched. "They'll come hard, and they'll come fast. We need to be ready, prepare the fleet. I want our systems on standby. Nothing gets through our shields and no ship gets left behind. They'll underestimate us again, but this time we'll be ready." She glanced at the tactical display, watching the rapidly closing distance between the two fleets. The Empire's ships were not a sight she relished, even with Earth's new power behind them. But there was one truth she had clung to since the beginning. Earth had been underestimated before, and now it was their time to strike back. Reese stood at her side, watching as the massive supercarrier, the very symbol of humanity's hidden strength, glided silently into position. Its dark hull, cloaked in near invisibility, shimmered against the starry backdrop. It was both a weapon and a message. "Commander, are we really going to bring the Supercarrier into the fray?" "It's our last resort," Reese asked, his voice tinged with concern. Aline turned to him, her expression resolute. "Yes, but only if they give us no choice. I won't risk everything on one ship. Our fleet has advanced enough to hold their own. We'll let them get close, make them believe they can overpower us. Then we'll unleash our hidden weapon." Reese nodded, understanding the strategy. It was bold, dangerous even, but it was their only chance. The humans had to fight smart, not just hard. Meanwhile, aboard the flagship of the Empire, Thrax paced. Furiously, his eyes fixed on the tactical readouts in front of him. The last time they'd underestimated Earth, the results had been disastrous. He wasn't about to make the same mistake again. Their fleet, now fully assembled, was ready to crush the humans once and for all. "We are in position," Zor's voice came from behind him. "They're waiting for us. Their defenses are intact, but they're no match for our firepower." Thrax stopped pacing and turned toward his officer. "It's not just firepower we need. This battle will decide everything. If Earth's supercarrier is operational, we cannot afford to take chances. This time we hit them where it hurts, Zor nodded, but there was something in his expression that caught Thrax's attention. Commander, there's something strange about their movements. Their fleet, it's almost like they're taunting us. They want us to attack first. Thrax's eyes narrowed. Let them think that. We'll show them that their games are over. He turned to face the vast space ahead, watching as Earth's fleet drew nearer. Prepare all ships. We engage at full force. Back on Earth, Aline stood before her command center's viewports, watching as the Empire's fleet loomed, ever closer. Her eyes flicked to the readouts, calculating every movement, every possible outcome. The Supercarrier systems hummed beneath her feet, a subtle reminder of the immense power at her disposal. We've got one shot at this, she said, more to herself than anyone else. If we fail, we lose everything. Rhys's voice broke her concentration. Commander, they're coming in faster. Our perimeter's almost breached. Aline's hand rested lightly on the control panel, her heart steady as she gave the orders. Hold position, let them come. A tense silence settled over the fleet. Every ship was poised for action, waiting for Aline's command. The Empire was charging in with everything they had, their fleet's enormous bulk bearing down on Earth like an unstoppable force. But Aline knew something the Empire didn't. Humanity wasn't just fighting for survival anymore, they were fighting for their future. The screen flickered, and the image of Thrax's flagship appeared. The Empire's flagship was vast, a hulking monster of metal and energy. It glowed with the raw power of the Empire's most advanced technologies, yet the human fleet remained steadfast. Aline's voice broke the silence. Activate all defensive systems. Shields up. EMP fields active on my mark. The tension in the command room was suffocating. Earth's fleet, despite its previous success, was far from invulnerable. The Empire had superior numbers, and even with the Supercarrier in play, there was no guarantee they would come out on top. Aline couldn't afford to let that doubt show. Not now. Aline's eyes flicked to the clock. Wait for my signal, she said. And remember, this isn't just about winning a battle. It's about sending a message to the Empire that Earth is no longer a victim. We're here to stay. As the clock ticked down, the Empire's ships closed in, their massive forms eclipsing the stars. The silence of space was broken only by the hum of Earth's fleet, its engines powering up, weapons. Primed! Now! Aline ordered. In an instant, the human fleet sprang to life. EMP bursts lit up the void like lightning, sending shockwaves through the Empire's ships. Energy shields flickered, and communication systems faltered. It was the opening salvo, a decisive move that sent the Empire reeling. Their precision. Targeting was useless now. Their navigation systems scrambled by the intensity of the attack. The first wave of Earth's missiles followed, ripping through the gaps in the Empire's fleet. Explosions lit up the darkness as the humans' weapons found their mark. For a moment, the vast fleet seemed to hesitate, stunned by the effectiveness of the attack. Then, as Earth's fleet pushed forward, the Supercarrier emerged from the shadows, its weapons charging up. It was time to end this. Thrax's flagship took a direct hit from the Supercarrier's energy cannons, shaking its foundation. Impossible! Thrax shouted as his fleet scrambled to retaliate. Aline's voice was calm, but filled with determination. Target the flagship. Take down their command structure first. The Empire, once so sure of itself, was now fighting for its very survival. And for the first time, the humans were in control. Commander, Rhys said, his voice filled with awe. They're breaking formation. The Empire is falling apart. Aline didn't respond immediately. Instead, her gaze remained fixed on the unfolding battle. She knew this was just the beginning. There would be more fights, more challenges. But For now, Earth had sent a message. The Empire would no longer rule unchecked. The final confrontation between Earth and the Empire reaches its boiling point. The Empire, crippled by Earth's surprise assault, is on the verge of collapse. Commander Aline Morrow and her fleet strike decisively, using Earth's supercarrier to dismantle the remaining alien forces. Thrax, broken and defeated, is forced to acknowledge humanity's strength. The tides of the galaxy shift as Earth steps into its new role, not as a victim, but as a dominant force. The Empire's fleet, once a terrifying sight across the stars, was now in complete disarray. The last remnants of their forces were scattered, their ships burning as Earth's supercarrier loomed in the distance, a silent testament to humanity's newfound power. Commander Thrax stood in the bridge of his flagship, his eyes fixed on the shattered remnants of his fleet. The once proud warships of the Empire were now reduced to debris and scattered pieces of metal, drifting helplessly in the void. His mind raced, unable to fully comprehend the scale of the defeat. How? Thrax muttered to himself. How did we lose? The realization hit him like a ton of bricks. The humans had done the unthinkable. They had turned their desperation into strength, their ingenuity into a weapon that had not only survived the Empire's wrath, but had now shattered it. Thrax's once certain belief in the invincibility of the Empire was now nothing but a cruel joke. "Commander!" Zor's voice broke through the fog of disbelief. "We've lost the flagship. Our command structure is completely compromised. The remaining fleet is in chaos." Thrax slammed his fist onto the console, the anger in his voice palpable. "I won't surrender, we'll regroup." But even as he spoke, the reality of the situation became unavoidable. Earth's supercarrier moved effortlessly through the debris of the Empire's forces, its weapons primed and ready. The supercarrier's guns fired again, and one of the Empire's last remaining ships erupted into flames, its destruction swift and final. On Earth's side, the command center was alive with activity. Aline stood before the main view screen, watching the last of the Empire's fleet crumble. Her breath was steady, her mind clear. The fight had taken everything they had, but Earth had won. "Commander Morrow," Lieutenant Commander Reese said, his voice filled with awe, "the Empire's fleet is collapsing. They're retreating." Aline remained silent for a moment, her eyes never leaving the view of the battle. "Don't celebrate yet. They'll be back. They always come back." But for the moment, Earth had proven its strength. And Aline knew the truth. The Empire's arrogance had led to its downfall. And now, humanity was no longer the prey, but the predator. The final moments of the battle passed in a blur. Thrax's flagship, now a wreck, attempted to flee, but Earth's forces closed in. The supercarrier fired one last shot, crippling the alien command vessel. Thrax's final words were lost in the chaos of the blast. As the last of the Empire's forces retreated into the darkness of space, Aline stood firm, watching as Earth's victory became undeniable. The galaxy had just witnessed the rise of a new power, one that would no longer be silenced or overlooked. And for the first time, Earth was no longer the forgotten planet. It was the one that would shape the future.